Hi everyone, today we're going to tell you all about the cinema in Beccles in Suffolk. It dates from the era of silent films and is another building that has survived to this day, although in a different guise. It was built in 1914 at number 9 Saltgate in Beccles. During construction, several bones were discovered near the screen end of the site. 5 skulls and a number of other bones were unearthed. Now, a private house on the site was demolished to build the cinema, and up until 1851 or 61, the site was occupied by the Prince of Wales pub. But the outcome of the issue of the bones is not known and probably lost to history. The cinema was opened in October 1914. Its opening was attended with very little ceremony, for it was around the time of the commencement of the First World War. The cinema boasted a colourful, unique mosaic sign, which was a glorious finishing touch to the building. That survives today. The cinema was owned and operated by Eastern Counties Cinemas of Norwich, and although appearing relatively small, it boasted 400 seats. It had a 24 feet wide proscenium, the stage was 12 feet deep, and there were 2 dressing rooms. One local visitor in the early days of the silent movies recalled, "Its resident pianist, a little fellow with hair brushed well back, his coattails arrayed behind the piano stool as he performed. He was obviously a spirited performer." In 1922, the owners were granted a licence to stage musical shows as well. After the war, the ownership of the cinema changed and eventually passed into local hands, and it then embarked upon an era probably unequalled since, with Junior Bob Atkinson as manager and Mr. Jimmy Cutler the musical chief. In the early days, tinkling piano was considered adequate to lend atmosphere to a picture, but later a small 3 or 4 piece orchestra took its place, for the musical accompaniment to a picture was slowly becoming an art. With the coming of super pictures, a musical score was generally available, adding considerably to the presentation, while sound effects emanating from the orchestra pit provided a touch of realism. In 1933, the owners were listed as Hipperson & Co. The then manager, Mr. Kett, left the cinema in 1947 to take up the position of manager at the Regal in Beccles, and he remained at the Regal until its closure. By that time, the cinema was owned by the Beccles Cinema Company. They owned both cinemas, both the cinema and the Regal, and Mrs. Butterfield was the owner of the Beccles Cinema Company. Now, that little cinema was closed in February 1960, with Rupert Davies in Life in Emergency Ward 10 and David Niven in Ask Any Girl. Mrs. Butterfield closed the cinema due to declining audiences, which she blamed fairly and squarely on the commencement of Anglia Television in 1959. So that once proud and vibrant little cinema then fell from grace, becoming a furniture showroom. The building where moviegoers once doubled up at the antics of Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton is now, though, a prezzo restaurant. It was converted sympathetically to its past life, and the fact that the building remains is a huge positive. Well, that's about it for now, and next up it's the turn of the much missed Odeon in Lowestoft. Till then, be good to each other. See you soon. Ta-da.